DeFranco can't keep your name out of his mouth. JK, you were on a show again today, dog? Wait, why? What the fuck?
Who's DeFranco?
Philip DeFranco? Sexy Phil? He's a YouTuber.
You guys are together?
What? No. No. He's like married and shit. Why is Philip DeFranco making a video on and Joe Rogan versus Hasan Piker? Wait, what? He made a video positioning me against Joe Rogan? Why? That's so weird, dude. That's so fucking strange. Okay, we have to watch that now.
What are you gonna do about that?
I mean, we're gonna watch it.
Isn't that just YouTube drama? Is that a real thing that you?
I mean, it is definitely YouTube drama, 100%.
Well, I guess we should watch it. Does Joe Rogan give a shit about that stuff?
He said lawsuits incoming. Joe Rogan versus Hasan Piker versus CNN. Wait,
Britney Spears.
is he implying that Joe Rogan is going to sue me?
Why would he sue you?
Because that would be fucking hilarious, dude.
Beautiful bastards, welcome back to the Philip DeFranco.
First of all, that would imply that he has to literally acknowledge my existence, which he knows who the fuck I am, but refuses to do so. So, you know.
So, and a quick thing before we jump into it. Yesterday, it turns out I did a push for cred.ai/Phil that was too effective and successful, and their site literally thought y'all were attacking them, which is why I believe like tens of thousands of you weren't able to get through the application process. If you want to still head over there, it should be all fixed today. They handled it relatively quick. It was my fault. They thought I was going to be pushing Thursday. It was actually Tuesday. It happened. Yeah, you should be all good to apply and get your badass metal black card. But that said, buckle up, hit that like button, otherwise I will punch you in the throat, and let's just jump into it. And the first thing that we're going to talk about today, massive implications. From Australia's High Court could have massive implications for how news companies regulate the content they post to social media. And that's because yesterday the court said the fact that it does
victim.
With Mexico's Supreme Court.
Where is it, chat? Oh, Joe Rogan. Here it is.
And in what's going to easily be one of the most divisive topics in today's show, which is crazy because we're also talking about abortion today. Let's talk about Joe Rogan. This was one of the most heavily requested stories today. So if you missed it, one of the biggest podcasters in the world last Wednesday announced that he was diagnosed with COVID-19 the Sunday before. And saying that once he found out, he threw a whole slew of medications at it, right? The whole kitchen sink. Or saying monoclonal antibodies, Z-Pack, prednisone, vitamin drips, and what has become the highlight for topic of conversation, ivermectin. And before we go further, I just want to say this is where people on both sides are getting me pissed off. I'm not saying it's an equal amount, but it's where I'm getting pissed off. When I first covered this story, I made a joke about monoclonal antibodies being the smart kid in the group project. Based off of all the good research right now, it appears that that is the thing that's helping people the most out of anything that was listed here. But
so he's right. So Joe Rogan took like a fucking cocktail, right? Basically took like prednisone, Z-Pack, zinc, vitamin C, monoclonal antibodies, which is experimental, but like FDA approved, or at least emergency authorization has existed for that. It's what the president took. And he also took ivermectin. Okay, ivermectin is what I just described to you, which is like literally horse dewormer paste. It has applications for human beings as well, but it has no research whatsoever, despite the fact that people have tried to find research or funded research to see if it's effective at curing or effective at treating COVID. There is no proven peer-reviewed research that has come out, and all the research that's come out that shows it being effective as a treatment is falsified and pulled, despite the fact that people still, claim that those studies are good. And another problem is that a lot of people are not taking the proper ivermectin because they can't go to the doctor and be like, give me the horse dewormer ivermectin. So instead, they're trying to get it from the America's Frontline Doctors, a group of like charlatan doctors that originally pushed the also now falsified cure that you never hear about in the form of hydroxychloroquine. One of the doctors that pushed that, literally, that got recognition from the president, came out to be like some psychotic woman who believes in demon semen, who believes that like, women are being impregnated by demon semen, and, she's crazy.
Like ghost sex?
Yeah, okay. Shit like that.
All right.
Anyway, but no one talks about that anymore. So now they've moved on to ivermectin. If you can't get it from the America's, Frontline Doctors or whatever, you resort to going to the feed store and getting the horse dewormer, ivermectin, that is made for horses and for cattle. So many people are literally You keep saying zinc, but it's Z-Pack. I said Z-Pack and zinc. He took zinc too. I thought zinc is like the #1 thing that these people take. Anyway, let's keep
To my
going.
friends on the left or vaccine supporters or however you identify, ivermectin isn't just horse paste. Yes, it is commonly known for its animal formulations that are meant to treat or prevent parasites in animals. And there has been an issue of Americans actually taking the animal formulation, which is a problem. But also, like when
Never
I
mind. Philip DeFranco is literally explaining.
last
it.
reported, I said, I hope that Joe Rogan didn't dive down the rabbit hole that he's taking the human version. There are ivermectin tablets that are for human beings. They're used usually in very specific scenarios, things like treating very specific parasitic worms. There are also topical versions for like rosacea and lice, but also for those who are choosing ivermectin over getting vaccinated right now, understand it is not approved by the FDA or recommended by the FDA for COVID-19. But also,
FDA recommends against using it. Merck, the pharmaceutical manufacturer that makes ivermectin, also recommends you don't take ivermectin for COVID-19.
so then for both sides or everyone in this story, there are clinical trials trying to see if there is any way that it helps. Right, so while so many people are treating this like a black and white situation, there are shades of gray here. I still would not go out and recommend you take this because the FDA is not saying it yet. Then to take us back to the core of this story, if you're criticizing Joe Rogan like I have, you do your viewers and just the conversation and debate in general a disservice by just saying Joe Rogan is gobbling up horse paste without further looking into the story. Joe Rogan on his podcast yesterday even addressing how some places reporting on this, even talking about potential litigation.
Bro, do I have to sue CNN?
I don't know, do you?
They're making shit up. They keep saying I'm taking horse dewormer. I literally got it from a doctor. It's an American company.
With Joe going on to say that he got it from a doctor who works with the frontline COVID-19 critical care alliance, though, as people like Hasan Piker have noted, that group is actually behind a faulty study about ivermectin that ended up being pulled by its publisher because it did not, quote, offer an objective nor balanced scientific contributions regarding ivermectin as a COVID treatment. But still, Rogan then went on to slam the media for not focusing on his recovery.
But what they didn't highlight
Yeah.
is that I got better.
Yeah, you got better quickly.
They try to make it seem as if like I'm doing some wacky shit that's completely ineffective. And
Right.
CNN was
doesn't
saying that I'm a
seem
distributor.
like it's super strange. And more so, I feel like people are just stupid and they're doing the wrong version of what he did.
Well, even then, ivermectin is like taking horse dewormer for COVID is the exact same as taking hydroxychloroquine for COVID. It's unproven, it's untested, and a lot of people end up self-medicating, and that's the problem.
So you're just saying because of his reach, he should be more cautious of things he talks about.
Yes, and also the other part of the problem is that he also pairs this up with vaccine hesitancy. So he's literally talking about how like vaccines are scary. If I was a young person, I would not take it. If I'm a healthy person, I would not take the vaccine. There's no reason to fear the vaccine itself. It's completely psychotic to literally telling fucking people not to take the vaccine. Since then, there have been more than 400 instances of overdosing on ivermectin as a consequence of people saying stuff like, you know, the vaccine is bad and ivermectin is good. Ivermectin is not an effective, tested, proven treatment for COVID. Monoclonal antibodies, however, are, which he also took, which he neglects to mention all that much in the video and hyper-focuses just on the horse dewormer or ivermectin. That's the problem. The problem is people like Joe Rogan can get monoclonal antibodies and they can get like ivermectin as well, and then, you know, talk about how wonderful ivermectin was in him getting better or whatever the fuck. Meanwhile, hospitals are full of people who did not get the vaccine, now have COVID, and now literally fucking only took ivermectin, so they might even have liver failure as a consequence without or even blindness. Right? Because there are side effects to taking horse dewormer or even overdosing on the human version of that. So now you got hospitals that are full, the ICU capabilities are fucking destroyed, and it's all directly a consequence of this misinformation spreading.
But to me, again, that doesn't seem like it's necessarily. This should be a push for people to really do research, because people don't do, like, they just listen to some godhead that they think has all the answers, but.
Of
The
course
real
they're
message
doing
here should be
research.
like, yeah, you're going to die if you just blindly take horse dewormer.
Yeah, no, of course people are doing research. Like, there are plenty
Clearly
of
they're
studies that are...
not.
No, they are. There are plenty of studies that are being conducted on the efficacy of ivermectin as a treatment. There are so many of these studies that are coming out right now. It's at the heart of curing a disease and, like, reaching herd immunity. There's, like... We're tackling this issue on all fronts, right? The problem is... Some people who want to come across as subversive and like not listening to the government authorities because they're like so different and so unique, are unironically advocating for faulty research and faulty studies conducted on fake cures, not to even make the fucking snake oil sales themselves, but to just simply get the clout off of the snake oil sales. So it's come to a point now within social media where like you can literally make more money not from selling the snake oil, but from like saying that you believe in the snake oil. You don't have to stock the snake oil. You don't have to fucking have like a surplus. You don't have to have any of the upfront costs of like building a snake oil empire. All you need to do is say, I'm selling you the snake oil. It's actually good. I took it. It's great. And people will follow you.
Right.
But as far as like people doing research, this is something that you hear from a lot of hogs, like a lot of dumb people that are like, oh, I'm doing my own research. I'm doing my own research. And it's like, well, okay, your own research is, you know.
I mean unbiased research, where you're not just trying to find the thing that you want to be validated.
Well, empirical evidence and like actual research that comes from scientists and the FDA that looks at the combination of all this research and the CDC and all of these other fucking people is legitimate research. People that are looking for anecdotes that claim like, oh, well, I fucking took ivermectin and I'm fine, so it must be good. Or my cousin took ivermectin and he's fine, so it must be an effective treatment.
Right.
Those people are not doing research. What those people are doing is just, you know, personal biases that they are, that they're trying to fulfill by looking for like those singular instance where someone will agree with them. That's why you see it, like 96% of doctors said that they've gotten the vaccine. 96%. This was in July, and in the remaining 4%, 50% of the 4% said they are going to take the vaccine immediately. So that means 2% of doctors have not taken the vaccine thus far. Why in the ever-loving fuck would you go to the 2% of doctors that haven't taken the vaccine and be like, I'm going to listen to you, and not the overwhelming number of people that have already gotten the vaccine that know more than we do? Why would you not go to the epidemiologists? Why would you not go to the pharmacologists and instead literally look at just the fucking, you know, dumbass group of individuals that are like, I'm a neuroscientist and I have a podcast, so listen to me tell you about this other cure.
Yeah, I see that.
Are you bored so far?
Everyone keeps saying I'm bored. This is just my listening face.
No, they're being simps. They're saying that you're bored because you know, they're like hyper focusing on you and want to make sure that, you know, you're well taken care of and not being bored.
I am here. I am present.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm gonna queef.
Of misinformation.
Oh, that's that is how Americans say amına koyayım. Amına koyayım is a Turkish curse. It means I'm gonna fuck your pussy. Very common Turkish slur that you say, and it sounds like I'm gonna queef, so people say that.
But we've also seen people pushing back on Joe Rogan here, arguing that it's been well documented that Joe has spread vaccine misinformation, that Joe Rogan has actually acknowledged that he has spread untrue things himself, with his general defense being, I, Joe Rogan, am a moron, you shouldn't listen to me. And as far as pushing back against people saying you're doing some wacky shit that's just completely ineffective, well, yes, there are people that are doing that. I think the actual thing is way more complicated. But if you look through a lot of his comments, the main takeaway for a lot of people is ivermectin by itself stopped Joe Rogan's COVID in its tracks, with very little credit being given to the smart kid in the...
She's bored, she'd rather be with me. That's at the heart of why they're behaving like this.
Let's hang out, Snika, or...
Whatever.
I couldn't catch his name.
Don't say that. Oh no,
That was his username.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant like, when you say that, you give him hope. What do you think about Donald Trump doing a 9/11 fight at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino between Holyfield? It's very real.
I feel like this is the depths of the universe that I try not to be aware of.
Wow, it's the most anticipated heavyweight fight of the year, though.
Really? Why? Why do we like to watch
old fighters fight each other?
Yeah, why do we like that? Can someone explain that to me?
Commentary from the previous president. Are you kidding me?